In this video, I want to talk about having a healthy lifestyle. Now, what does that mean? About 10 years ago, I was competing in 2 bodybuilding competitions, which meant I was working out every single day, I was watching my diet, and I was feeling fit. I had almost no fat, and I was in really, really good shape. And then I went to America, the land of unlimited food consumption, so to speak. The portions were bigger, the food had more calories, I stopped working out, my wife got pregnant, and at the same time I got pregnant because I gained about 50 or 60 pounds in a matter of months. Now, what happened was also I started to feel less energetic. I started to be tired, I felt more sluggish. And what happened also parallel to that is that it had an effect on my relationship, on my work, on everything else in my life, because physically I was feeling bad and it affected the rest of my life. And I totally underestimated getting back into shape, how much mentally it had a positive effect on me. How my self-confidence went back up again once I started to get back into shape, how I started to feel better, my relationship, business, and so forth. So being in good physical shape, which means having a healthy lifestyle, is going to improve everything in your life. And that's why it's so important. The reason why people get sick is because their immune system is weak. They have toxins attacking their body. They have nutritional deficiencies. They have exposure to electromagnetic chaos, or they have mental and emotional stress. So basically, we are our own worst enemy. We start to hurt ourselves through a bad lifestyle, through bad choices, through bad nutrition, through bad environment where we live in, and so forth. And in order to protect yourself from that, you need to make sure you do everything that you can, physically, with your nutrition, with exercise, so that your immune system stays strong. Now, what does the average American person consume per week? Okay, and this is shocking. We eat 42 slices of flour, or white toast bread, basically. We eat 8 blocks of butter, which represents fat. Okay, it's not actually the butter itself, but so much fat. 4 pounds of sugar in all the soda drinks and so forth. We drink so much sugar, and about 1 ounce of salt. And that is what the average American person puts into their body each week. And that's why things like cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and digestive problems start to happen. What do? Well, then we take medication, okay, to fight those symptoms. And those medications have side effects, okay, and that's going to make us even more sick. And it's a cycle, it's a bad cycle that doesn't lead anywhere. So in order for you to be happy, to function well, you need to have a good nutrition, you need to have exercise, and you need to take care of yourself, which means you need to choose a healthy lifestyle. Most people don't realize, but sugar is actually poison for our bodies. And yet it's in so many foods, and especially in processed foods, in soda, and so forth. And our body doesn't really need sugar, okay? Because it's really bad for you. What should you do? You should cut out soda drinks, replace it with water, okay? So drink more water. And also sugar is being easily turned into fat. If you have too many carbohydrates, and sugar is a type of carbohydrate, what happens? It will be stored, and it will be stored in fat, and that's the opposite of what most people want. So to counteract that, you should eat more protein instead of carbohydrates and cut out simple sugars completely. An easy way to remember what you should eat or shouldn't eat is this. You have 3 white substances. You have sugar, you have white flour, and you have salt. And too much of those three white substances is bad for you, okay? So, cut out the sugar, cut out white flour, and cut out salt. In order for your body to function well, you need daily exercise. And typically, you should have at least 30 minutes of daily exercise. Let's say you have a busy life and you can't find time to work out. Well, everybody has 30 minutes, okay? And if you don't have it, you need to make it a priority. And I would suggest this. Put your gym clothes next to your bed in the morning, first thing when you get up, before you start to think about whether you want to work out or not. Put on your gym clothes, get in the car or go outside and go to the gym and start working out. And sometimes you're in the middle of working out before you kind of wake up and realize, oh, actually, I don't feel like working out today. But then you're already halfway through your routine. So you need to do it. And for me personally, if I do it first thing in the morning, I know it's done for the day, okay? So daily exercise of at least 30 minutes is going to change everything. Ideally, you want to have some strength training, some weight training, some cardio, and some stretching or yoga. And that's the balance that you need to function well physically. The number one rule to improve your health is to avoid processed food. And that is especially difficult here in America because everything is processed. 90% of the food is processed, which means obviously if you eat fruits and vegetables and anything that grows on a plant or comes from the earth or comes from an animal, okay, that is not processed, that's good for you. And everything that has been chemically altered or processed or comes in a box somehow and has 100 names on it that you can't pronounce, then it's processed, that's bad for you. A very simple rule. So just think in those terms. When it comes from a plant, when it comes from a tree, it's healthy. And when it's processed or changed, it's generally speaking unhealthy. I would encourage you to eat mostly organic food, okay? But if you can't find organic, well, at least eat healthy, which means vegetables and fruits. And you don't have to be a vegetarian to be healthy. There is no real convincing evidence that vegetarians are healthier or live longer than people who eat meat. But just remember, okay, science is not better than nature. So whatever you eat, don't eat processed food, okay? Sometimes when you look at bread, for example, and we're going to go into that in a little while, bread has been processed to a certain point and that it has been bleached, chemicals have been added, vitamins have been taken out of it, vitamins have been added to it, and so forth. And in the end, you get some sort of a product that looks like bread, that looks nice, but it's really unhealthy for you. In general, your life will get better if you cut out bread completely, okay, because mostly it's processed, and if you cut out dairy, because dairy is also pasteurized, is processed, and so forth. So if you cut out those two things, bread and dairy, you're going to improve how you feel tremendously. One of the most common ingredients in America is corn syrup because it's inexpensive and it makes you fatter than other sweeteners. Also, MSG is also often in products to increase the taste and so forth. But it's really bad for you. Those two things are responsible for so many illnesses. And you should just really avoid them. Avoid artificial sweeteners or man-made chemicals because they're poison for you and they should never be consumed. You can use other stuff like honey or stevia to make stuff sweet, for example. And basically it comes down to this. Look at the box, read the labels, and everything that is difficult to pronounce should not be consumed because it's somehow a chemical. And you don't really want to have that in your food anyway, okay? So develop a new habit. Whatever you buy, whatever food you buy, look at the label, read the label, and ask yourself, do you really want to have any substance that could potentially harm your health in your food? And the answer is most likely no. And it's a process. It doesn't happen from one day to the next, okay? And I also eat bad things, okay? But basically, start to get aware. Awareness is the first step. Become aware of what you're eating and why you're eating, okay? And often because we're hungry or we're stressed or life has so many responsibilities, we just don't worry about it, okay? Because it's easy, quick, and simple. But that easy, quick, and simple, that mentality is usually processed and it's not good for you. So make a conscious choice to live a healthier life. Well, what happens if you cheat on your diet, okay? And that is something that all of us do, okay? No one is perfect. No one always adheres to the perfect principles, okay? And I certainly don't. So whenever you are trying to stick with a diet and you eat that hamburger or that ice cream or that pizza or whatever you shouldn't have eaten, okay? Remember this. You are only 3 hours away from getting back on track, from your next meal to getting back on the horse, so to speak. So you don't want to punish yourself, beat yourself up and say, oh, I already cheated now, I can just, everything is pointless. No, okay? One bad meal isn't the end of the world because you can get right back on track with the following meal, okay? So don't beat yourself up. When you do a diet in general, okay, this is my advice. Plan your cheat day in advance. For example, Monday through Saturday, you're going to eat perfectly. You're going to follow your plan as good as you can. But then on Sunday, if you want to eat certain bad things, then do that, eat that. Because the problem is, if you're constantly suffering or you feel like you're suffering and you're avoiding the things that you really love, like chocolate or something like that, well, you can have that chocolate. You can have that bad food once in a while, just not constantly. And if you know that you're going to have it on Sunday, in that example, then you're more likely to stick to your diet.